The Mandalorian game is real. Maybe. Metroid Prime 4 very possibly happening this year, as well as 20 DLC characters for Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, we're gonna get into that, and a few more rumors, honestly.
Maybe. It's classified.
Hello nerds, and welcome to the Rumor Mill. You have found the appropriate cheat code to get to the news before it becomes news. Here we will discuss rumors in the pop culture and nerdy realm of things, then we will discuss the probability that those rumors are legitimate, and then finally probably a little bit of my own personal speculation. If you want the more concrete news that has already become news, then there is a full news show over on the main channel called The Week in Nerddom, which you can find linked down in the description, as well as at the end of this video. Now, let's see what all of those rumor mongers have to say, and which of them are just plain full of poop. So we have no confirmations or refutations to get out of the way. Let's just jump into, we have no new sources for old rumors, so we're just kind of starting the season slate clean as far as that goes. So let's jump into new rumors, shall we? So first on the new rumors is a Spider-Man adjacent property. Silk the Spider Society is a series that we've been talking about, is going to Amazon Prime. Apparently, according to rumor, they have recently completely sacked the entire writer's room. The production staff is going to be sticking around. So production is Angela Kang, Phil Lord, and Christopher Miller. You'll recognize all of those names from very popular nerdy franchises. Angela Kang did Walking Dead. Phil Lord, where did it go? Yeah, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller both did the original Deadpool movie, so there's that. The new word is that since they have sacked, all of this is rumor. So since they supposedly have sacked the entire writer's room, the new word is that the new direction for the show is that it's going to be more male skewing in its appearance. It's going to be something that the male audience is going to be more inclined to watch. Weird. It's like they might be learning a lesson. All of this has happened within the last 6 days, according to the rumor, which is no surprise considering what we just talked about with Madam Web. So the likelihood here for the Silk Spider Society, I'm giving this one about a 65% because they might be learning a lesson. Like, as much as it seems like they don't learn lessons and they just write things off, oh, people just don't like that property, I think there's enough evidence to the contrary where they're starting to toy with the idea that maybe we should do what the fans want. So 65% likely. A couple of different outlets have been talking about this rumor, so that gives it a little bit more credence. Our next piece of rumor has to do with Henry Cavill. This is a new rumor. It is not the same rumor, even though it is covering a similar ground that we've talked about previously. Henry Cavill is said to be signed on with Marvel for sure, presumably putting to bed the speculation that he would be playing Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movie. Likely, though, he is not going to be playing Captain Britain, according to the rumor. This one, I mean, there's honestly a couple of different pieces. We could have given this a number of different scores as far as it goes, but I think the overall score, we're looking at about a 70% likelihood that Henry Cavill has signed on with Marvel. Anything beyond that would probably just be speculation, so we'll get to that in just a minute, but anything that up to that point I think is fairly accurate. About a 70% likelihood that Henry Cavill has signed with Marvel to some degree. And then let's get into some gaming rumors real quick. First up on that side of the rumor mill is Metroid Prime 4. Presumably is going to be released, if you want to believe the rumors, is going to be released this year. Again, not the first time we've heard a rumor like this. This is coming from new sources. And I still don't know if there's enough on either side, because if you want to believe that, there are other rumors that we might be getting into next week that kind of play a little bit more into the future of Nintendo that might make this slightly more likely, but I think only so slightly. So we're going about 50% likely that we will be seeing Metroid Prime 4 this year. Our next gaming rumor has to do with The Mandalorian, the game. If you remember, I think it was a little over a year ago, we had The Mandalorian was a third-person shooter game that leaked out. Well, that was fake. This is a different situation entirely. This is supposedly, if you want to believe this rumor, this is a first-person shooter that is going to be developed, is actually in the middle of development from Respawn Entertainment. If you don't know why you know that name, it's because they're the ones that are responsible for the Apex Legends game, as well as Titanfall. So yeah, Respawn is said to be working on FPS, and the rumor does go on to say that they are working on it, but it will be at least 2 years before we get a release date for this. So that kind of lends a little bit of credence to this rumor, and also the fact that it's been picked up by a number of different rumor mongers at this point. But we have been burned by this in the past, so we can't get too excited. We can't go too high. We're going to say 65% here as well, because that's a very cautious number at this point. So from there, let's talk about the Mortal Kombat 1 leaks, shall we? Oh boy, okay. So we'll go through the raw data. So the raw data says, first and foremost, we have 20 DLC characters coming to the game, not including Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung would be 21 on the DLC side, which would effectively just about double the roster for Mortal Kombat 1. And then we'll get into the breakdown of exactly what that is. The other thing is that there is a tag mode rather, for Mortal Kombat 1, where you wouldn't have cameos, you would have 2 fully playable characters, and you'd use the cameo button to switch between the 2 fully playable characters. So that one, there's a little bit more credence to that. And then the third piece of this Mortal Kombat rumor is a cameo versus mode, which is kind of anyone's guess as to what exactly that is. So let's go in order. A little bit more detail as far as the 20 DLC characters is concerned. This is not cameo characters. This is fully playable DLC characters, is what the leak, quote unquote, says. So the way it was broken down in the leak is Combat Pack 1, which we are already in the middle of, will be 6 DLC characters. Combat Pack 2 will be another 6 DLC characters, broken up similarly to Combat Pack 1, where we have 3 Mortal Kombat characters and then 3 guest characters. And then from there, we will have 3 story DLC characters, much like we did with Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath. And then the remaining 5 characters, there was no allotment as to exactly how we were going to get them, but we are supposedly going to be getting them. So, presumably, the other 5 characters are going to be in an additional story mode download, which, okay, I can see the speculation there. We're going to get to speculation in a second. Let's give percentages for these rumors. It's effectively all the same quote-unquote leak, but it's 3 very different elements, right? So 20 characters for DLC. I don't think there's a very strong likelihood for this.
Psst, hey, so I'm just, passing the word around that, if you subscribe, he feeds me a whole goat. I don't know about you, but, I like to eat, so do a dragon a favor and click that little button down there, and, yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, we talk about the stuff that you like anyway, like movies and video games and other human things that nerds do. Plus, it costs you basically nothing. All you gotta do is click a button, right? And then I get to feast. It's delicious. So, thanks in advance and stuff, and, also, if you comment or you hit the like button, he puts seasoning on it too, so, yeah, maybe try that. Either way, let's get back to the show. Okay, bye.
I'm going to say 30% likely that we get 20 DLC characters. If you'll remember from Mortal Kombat 1, there were many other DLC character slots that remained empty. They just had them in the code just in case, it would seem, or as a filler of some sort. So that's the big thing for me. That's saying that seems like a big number. I don't think that would be accurate, and especially if you take a look at I mean, it's fully possible for them to rearrange the character select screen, but like, would they? So yeah, as far as that goes, no. As far as tag mode goes, this one is very, very likely because it's already effectively in the game. Now, it wouldn't be the first time that a mode for a Mortal Kombat game was left in the code, or, you know, was a filler place for something else or something along those lines. But with the most recent update to the game, we have new additions to the tag mode. Now, the way we know that tag mode exists is because apparently Mortal Kombat 1 is super easy to mod and super easy to data mine. So between those two things, if you play on Steam, you can unlock tag mode right now and play tag mode, sans cameos and 2 fully playable characters from the existing roster. So yeah, tag mode is kind of all but already in the game. It's just a matter of them polishing it to where they want it and then officially releasing it. So we're gonna say 80% for tag mode, and then we have cameo versus mode. What the hell does that mean? This is very likely a placeholder for something else. This is the one that seems a little too outlandish, because are you gonna just play as cameo characters? However would that even work? Are you gonna have you're gonna select a character from the main roster who is completely disabled? You can only use your cameo buttons. The up, it would be the 4 directions, or just the neutral button press in most cases. I mean, every cameo is a little bit different, but so yeah, 20% likely that is the actual thing that is going to be, and it's much, much, much more likely that there is going to be something else that comes in its place. So that's our Mortal Kombat rumors. Next we have a Beetles rumor, this movie rumor technically speaking. Beetles, it has been rumored that there is going to be a biopic. Actually, no, not just a biopic for the Beatles, but 4 biopics, one for each member of the band, and all of those movies are going to be intertwined with one another. That seems like a great thing, but this is from a very new source, and it just seems a little ambitious for Hollywood right now, so I'm going to say about 50% likely. There's plenty on either side to say it could go either way. And then the one that I think I really want to happen possibly the most, I don't know, the Mortal Kombat one would be great if at least the first 2 rumors were true. But Spider-Man Noir is the rumor. Spider-Man Noir, we do know it's happening. Like, that's not the news. The news is that Nicolas Cage is actually in talks. Well, it's not news, it's the rumor, to play the lead for the live-action series. It's going to be a series, I believe, also over on Amazon Prime. I'm going to say 50% on this one, because again, we know it's happening, but Nicolas Cage playing the Spider-Man Noir, I know he did the voice in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but like, it's very different voicing a character and then physically becoming the character. If it's a limited series, I think that's plenty of reason to suspect, yes, that's possible, but we don't know anything about the series at this point, so 50% likely that we're going to be seeing Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. All right, so we got a couple of things we kind of left open for speculation. So this is new into Season 5. We're going to talk about my speculation on some of them. First up is Mortal Kombat 1. My speculation for those rumors, like I kind of sort of talked about this, I mentioned it at least, the 5 extra characters, should that number be accurate, that 20 number, 5 extra characters could imply that we're going to be getting multiple story DLCs. Theoretically, 2 beyond the 1 that's kind of all but confirmed at this point. So the 1 is going to bring with it 3 new characters, and then the second story DLC would, under this speculation, would then also bring 3 new story characters, and then a third story DLC, which would presumably be a little bit shorter, would bring with it 2 more DLC characters, which would kind of round out that nice round 20 number. Again, this is not the first time that we have seen X number of DLC character slots in the code, and then they just don't get filled. If you remember, the speculation for Mortal Kombat 11 was that they were going to make that character select screen a proper rectangle, and it never happened. It's still got that weird, like, whatever layout it has. So yeah, that's very speculative. I don't see 20 being the number though. I feel like that's still a little bit large. And also, where are the cameos? If we're getting 20 playable characters, would we then not also get somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 DLC cameos as well? It just seems to stand to reason, but the rumor doesn't say anything about that. So I don't think that it's a 1-for-1. And then our other piece of speculation for Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill in the MCU, will he be the new Wolverine? I think because the leaker does say that it is not likely he will be playing Captain Britain, and also not super likely he's going to be Doctor Doom. I mean, he could be. That's still possible. I don't fully know why the leaker said that it's putting to bed speculation that he would be playing Doctor Doom, because Fantastic Four is still Marvel, right? So why wouldn't he be, like, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to see him as Doctor Doom, and that would also mean very potentially that they're not going to be killing off Doctor Doom, so yay. But I think the more curveball idea would be to cast him as the new Wolverine, because he's already a well-liked superhero figure in the Hollywood sphere, and Wolverine is one of the most well-liked superheroes in existence, so kind of stands to reason, 1-for-1 there, right? Captain Britain's slightly too obscure. Not that he's, like, unknown to non-comic readers, but not exactly well-known, we'll say that. And that, nerds, is all of our regular stuff. So that brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means, just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.